Hello, good evening. After decades of waiting, a public inquiry into one of the biggest scandals in NHS history got underway today in front of some of the many hundreds of victims and their families. The judge overseeing proceedings said thousands of people might have been given infected blood during the 1970s and 1980s after NHS patients were given blood contaminated with HIV and hepatitis. And he promised to investigate allegations of a government cover-up without fear or favour. Our health correspondent Paul Kelso spent the day at the inquiry with some of those whose lives have been affected.
I'd actually take what's happened to me to my grave.
Two victims of contaminated blood among thousands at the start of a day they thought might never come. Michelle was infected with hepatitis C by a blood transfusion given during childbirth. She was only diagnosed 3 years ago.
28 years that I'd been infected with hepatitis C. I actually thought I was going to die. My body's been invaded with an entity that I didn't ask for. You know, I didn't commit a crime, so don't give me a death sentence for something I've not done wrong. All I wanted was a baby and a family.
Tony was a child when he lost his dad and both his uncles to HIV, contracted during treatment for haemophilia.
I think today's going to be very difficult. I think today I'm going to be that 12-year-old child again. Yeah, I think it's going to be extremely difficult, but I'm really happy that we're moving forward with it and that the task is going to be dealt with.
The infected blood scandal is the story of thousands of personal tragedies like Michelle's and Tony's, and they joined hundreds of victims, hopeful they will finally hear the truth about the biggest treatment scandal in the history of the NHS.
You've got the light to fight the shadow, so stop hiding it away.
It began with the commemoration of the dead and the dying, a community finally given voice for their grief and anger.
With almost 5,000 people infected and nearly 3,000 and counting killed, the death toll from contaminated blood dwarfs that of every other British public scandal of the last 50 years combined. Until now, it has never had a focal point. Victims and their families hope this inquiry will finally hold those responsible to account.
Chairman Sir Brian Langstaff said the number of victims could grow, with thousands of transfusion patients possibly unaware they've been infected. And he promised the inquiry would investigate allegations of a government cover-up, compelling witnesses to appear if necessary.
It is willing to hold people to account where appropriate, and it will express its views at the end without fear or favour, affection or ill will.
At the end of an emotional day, his message was welcome.
At the moment in time, I feel very positive.
Tony, are you encouraged?
Yeah, I'm very encouraged. What I've heard today, I almost feel today that he's given that 12-year-old boy a voice.
This inquiry will take at least 2 years, but Michelle, Tony and all those affected may at last be at the beginning of the end. Paul Kelso, Sky News.
And that story is featuring in tomorrow's papers. There's the headline in the Metro: biggest tragedy ever in the NHS.